Task: maintain an M4 series carbine. Perform a functions check on an M4 series carbine in sequence. Test conditions: given an M4 series carbine, correctly clear, disassemble, assemble, and perform a functions check. Test standards: within 2 minutes, clear in sequence and disassemble the M4 series carbine. Within 2 minutes, assemble the M4 series carbine and perform a functions check in sequence. Let me have your attention. At this point, you must perform operator maintenance on an M4 series carbine and perform a functions check in sequence on an M4 series carbine. The purpose of this is to determine your ability to perform operator maintenance on an M4 series carbine. You will show the score that you can clear, disassemble, assemble, and perform a functions check in sequence on the weapon. The weapon must pass the functions check. You have 2 minutes to clear and disassemble in sequence the M4 series carbine. You may use only the equipment that you will find on the table in front of you. Place the disassembled parts on the table as you remove them. Do you understand what you must do? You now have 2 minutes to assemble the M4 series carbine and perform a functions check in sequence. You may use only the equipment found on the table in front of you. Place the assembled weapon on the table after you complete the assembly and functions check. Do you understand what you must do? Performance measures. Performance measure 1. Clear an M4 series carbine in sequence. Point the weapon in a safe direction. Attempt to place a selector lever on safe. Remove the magazine from the weapon if present. Lock the bolt open. Ensure that no ammunition is in the receiver or chamber. Press the upper portion of the bolt catch, allowing the bolt to go forward. Close the ejection port. Performance measure 2. Disassemble the weapon. Do not grade in sequence. Remove the sling. Remove the handguards only if you can see dirt or corrosion through the vent holes. Push the takedown pin as far as it will go. Pivot the upper receiver from the lower receiver. Push the receiver pivot pin in as far as it will go. Separate the upper receiver from the lower receiver. Remove carrying handle if applicable. Pull back the charging handle. Remove the bolt carrier and bolt. Remove the charging handle. Disassemble the bolt carrier and bolt. Remove buffer and buffer spring from buttstock. Remove the buttstock. Performance measures 1 and 2 are performed within 2 minutes. Performance measure 4. Assemble the weapon. Do not grade in sequence. Insert the action spring and buffer. Assemble the bolt carrier. Engage and then push the charging handle in part of the way. Slide in the bolt carrier assembly. Push in the charging handle and the bolt carrier group together. Join the upper and lower receiver groups. Engage the receiver pivot point. Close the upper and lower receiver groups. Push in the takedown pins. Replace the handguards if applicable. Replace the carrying handle if applicable. And replace the buttstock. Replace the sling. Performance measure 5. Perform a functions check in sequence. Place selector lever on safe. Pull charging handle to the rear and release. Pull trigger. Hammer should not fall. Place selector lever on semi. Pull trigger. Hammer should fall. Hold trigger to the rear and charge the weapon. Release the trigger with a slow, smooth motion until the trigger is fully forward. Pull the trigger. Note, the hammer should not fall. Place the selector switch on auto. Pull the charging handle to the rear, charging the weapon. Squeeze the trigger. Note, the hammer should fall. Hold the trigger to the rear, cock the weapon again. Fully release the trigger, then squeeze it again. Note, the hammer should not fall, because it should have fallen when the bolt was allowed to move forward during the chambering and locking sequence. Charge the weapon and place the weapon on safe. Performance measures 4 and 5 are performed within 2 minutes.